Hey everyone, Miss Wilkins here. This week we are going to focus on a radial name design. Your homeroom teacher should have shared out a lesson plan for you that has some important information on how to get this started, but I'm going to walk you through it today. So let's look at some things that we learned from last week. Last week we focused on a found object radial design, and that radial design is going to help guide you through our activity today. Our activity is still, yet again, a radial design, so let's review what a radial design is. Anything that is radial means that it works from a circle or starts from a center point and then works its way out in a circular fashion. What you will focus on is using your name for your radial design, or possibly your mom, dad, sister, brother's name, maybe a pet's name, your favorite sporting team. Any name or word will do. You just want to be inspired by what you create. And that will work in its own radial fashion on this piece of paper. So let's get started and see how we go about doing this. Let's start out with how to make a rectangular piece of paper into a square piece of paper. First, you will have to fold the corner over the flat edge of the paper and crease it. Once you have creased it, then cut off the excess piece of paper and open your paper, and it should turn into a square. Once you've created your square, next you will need to fold the paper across the other diagonal to create an X in the middle of your paper. If you only fold the diagonal corners to create an X, you will create a more simple pattern with 4 triangles. If you would like a more advanced version, you will take and fold your paper in half and then open it and then fold it the other direction. This will give you 8 triangles. Now let's get started with adding your name or your chosen word. The key to adding your name is to make sure that you stretch your letters from top to bottom of your triangle. This is super important. Let's start with the first triangle. I like to begin with my letters starting from the center of my triangle and working to the edge of the paper. Be sure to extend your letters as they get taller from the top and the bottom of the triangle. When you're complete with the first triangle, rotate your paper and start your word again. How you start your word here is super important. Your letters have to connect to each other, and this is a little tricky with letters that have curved edges. Straight stick letters like I's, T's, and K's are a little simpler to connect, so just be aware that that can be a little tricky. Try to stack your letters as closely as you can, one on top of the other. When you're finished with the triangle, rotate your paper again and then make sure to connect your letters. When finished, your words will ideally look like a camouflaged picture, and it will be hard to tell what your word was that you chose to write, especially when you add your color. That is next. Let's talk about color. This is where your artwork's going to become very individualized. First, make a decision on whether you're going to outline all of your letters plus your triangular guidelines, or whether, like me, you're only going to outline your letters. Once you've outlined them in a dark color, such as blue, purple, black, brown, you will then choose your colors to add between your letters. You should work in a color pattern as it will help camouflage your word even better. If you chose stick letters, you will work with the colors in between the sticks of your letters. If you chose block letters as your lettering style, you will not only have to outline the edges of your letters as I have done, but you will have to add color to the body of the letter. Once you've created a pattern, such as I've done, with dark purple, blue, and then a darker blue, you would move to the background. Work through your artwork in triangles. Make sure to continue the pattern. So my next step was to add a bright pink in between the letters. I work one step at a time as to not make errors as I move through my artwork. You can add color with any art supply that you have around the house. I chose to do mine with Sharpie, but you could use marker, colored pencil, crayon, or even paint. Have fun and see how close you can get to camouflaging in your word.